I do want to talk about something that it's on my mind and bothers me. For the past 2, 3 decade, for the past decade, and this is something that I constantly notice that I get stuck in, and I try to, find my way out of. And this is this idea of getting worried about creating echo chambers and feeling that I have this allergic reaction to creating a group of people where we think we're on the side of good, and the people who are against us or disagree with us are the evil enemies, and we are so noble. And I noticed, like, some of our fans, for example, whenever, like, we fans come and go, and some people get disappointed in you and abandon you, and then new people find you and this direction that you're going, it resonates with them a lot more. And it grows and it shrinks and it keeps going up and down. And what I notice is that the reason why it keeps shrinking and growing a little bit and then shrinking is because of this allergic reaction I have to this feeling that we have a group of people that don't question our side. You know what I mean? That their standard for whether something is right or not is if our group is saying things, is a statement, for example, is true or false. The main criteria for that is, does this sound like the things that this group, our group, agrees with, right? And is this something that we like, oh yeah, this is our statement, this is, I'm not going to be against this because this is what we believe, and if I disagree with this, I'm all of a sudden going to be in the other group. I don't want to be in the other group. Those are the baddies. We're the goodies, or the baddies. We want to be in the good side. And like, I want, yes, we're the good ones, and those are the bad ones, right? Yeah, and the one thing, and it's interesting because we might congratulate ourselves. We're like, well, we're not like that. We're self-critical. We're like, we're not an echo chamber. And like, yeah, I mean, that's a very echo chambery thing to say. we are the self-critical ones. But this gets also very difficult when, by the way, this is why you keep noticing me, as soon as I find certain new fans, I start attacking their views. It's because I'm just trying to avoid that. Like, as soon as you when you see like right-wingers supporting you, then you attack right-winging views. And then you see like, oh, now left-leaning people are supporting you, now I'm going to attack left-leaning views, because I'm just like, I'm just so desperate in avoiding that. And then all of a sudden we have a whole bunch of Hindu nationalist fan. I'm like, okay, time to blaspheme against Hinduism. It's like, this is, it seems like, and saying this, it comes off as self-congratulatory, right? Because now you're like, yes, Armin, what you're saying is like, unlike all those other people who say anything to appease their audience, what I am actually doing here, I'm being intellectually honest with you. But then, but that's also another thing that we all now could blindly accept. Like, yes, we are different. You know what I mean? Like, now, like, are we though? Right? Are we? No, because are we going to question that? Because now by repeating that constantly, now you're you get a whole bunch of fans that be like, yes, Armin, this is why I like you, because you are very self-critical. Like, well, are you sure about that? Like, we're not, because they don't seem to, like, the people who say that don't seem to be examining that at all. Like, a lot of the people who like me don't really criticize me. right? So I'm like, well, this is dangerous. Like, I mean, recently I found some people who like me and still are very critical of me, and I love that because because it seems like the people who like me either don't criticize me, and the people who criticize me doesn't seem to be like they just hate my guts. Like, it's not like they're like, oh, this is why you're wrong. No, they just don't like me, right? And this is why I'm in an obsessive, you know, hunt for people who don't seem to have any personal issues with me, but they very much disagree with me. That's what I'm looking for, because that means, like, okay, this is actually coming from they're trying to, like, critically show me where I'm wrong. All right. And I haven't found that anywhere except, like, recently on the Persian channel. I've been having a lot of very interesting discussions with this Muslim guy, and also a very interesting discussion, some very interesting discussions with this anti-Islam guy, right? And they both, the Muslim guy very disagrees with me, and the anti-Islam guy very much disagrees with me. But they both have no hatred towards me, but they think I'm fundamentally wrong about certain views, and those are like, I need more of this. I need more of this in my life. And I found that, again, that seems to be the times where I feel the most amount of engagement and reward from the engagement, right? It's not, I just feel like I need just 5 people like that and okay, to constantly engage with, right? That's all I need. And okay, so here's the thing. I'm going to get to the questions right now after this, okay? But just one more thing. I noticed that this becomes the most important times where this becomes an issue is when the people that you're on the other camp, right, are they're not just wrong, okay? They do actually represent evil, okay? And in that situation, it becomes even more dangerous for your side to create this cult-like sense of, self-righteous justification of everything that your side does, and the questioning of it will become you accepting the enemy, okay? You accepting the evil side. Ghost Bunny became a new member. Thank you, Ghost Bunny. Guys, I'm going to get to the questions right after this. Sorry, I know this is going for a while. Okay, let me give you an example. Okay, on the Persian channel, when I speak, so we have different forms of activism, right? We're trying to speak against religion. We're trying to promote, proper ways of, coming up to a conclusion. I'm not even calling it rationalism anymore, because now people are like, are you rationalist or are you an empiricist? Okay. And I'm like more of an empiricist. So I don't even know if I should say rational, because people, anyways. What was I saying? Oh yeah. And we're also like actively, making programs against, like, the Islamic Republic of Iran. That's like one of the central themes of that channel, right? It's a theocracy. We're an atheist channel. We'll naturally be opposing at the theocracy. That's part of what we do, right? It's like it goes hand in hand, being an atheist activist and the Islamic Republic of Iran being a theocracy. However, what I noticed, and I noticed this in other places as well, like when it comes to people who are against the Cuban government, like, it's easy to be against the Cuban government. Like, I mean, like, this is, like, first of all, it's communism. Second of all, it's anti-LGBT, authoritarian, blah blah blah. But and other places, like against CCP, against being against CCP, and like they are doing a cultural genocide. Like, it's completely justified to be against the Islamic Republic of Iran, against the CCP, and so. But the thing is that because it's so justified, then questioning things from your side, which is against this great evil, for example, all of a sudden becomes heresy, right? And then there are certain narratives that grows from your side, because this great evil that you're fighting against, for example, like Islamic Republic of Iran, is not just now an evil, it's the greatest evil, right? Because that will make your activism the most significant thing in the world, because the greater the evil that you're fighting is, the more significant your activism is, and the more important you are as an individual, and the more important your cause is, right? So as evil as that thing is, you're motivated to even make it bigger, right? And also to make it seem ever present everywhere, in all media, in all governments, under the table, maybe, I don't know. And this leads to conspiracies from your side, from the people who are against the Islamic Republic of Iran, but then that are not to be questioned, because, and if you question them, and if you're questioning your own side, for example, all of a sudden this leads to people thinking like, are you with us or not, right? Like, I'm just like, guys, I'm with you guys, I'm again, but I want to see if this is true, right? Like, maybe it is, maybe it isn't, I don't know. You guys seem to be coming up with stuff with no evidence, and this is what I want to warn people of. I want to warn you, like, when you are when a lot of us put things into black and white, right? Islam bad, and I mean, sometimes it is easy to make it black and white. Like, for example, when it comes to Islamic Republic of Iran, I'm not saying, like, sometimes, like, we make things simple, like this is bad and this is good, and sometimes it's not that simple, but sometimes it is. Sometimes Islamic Republic of Iran is actually like an evil regime, right? But when it's easy to make it black and white, all of a sudden every single conclusion that comes down from that all of a sudden becomes black and white, right? So, and it's just like you decide, like, so what I'm saying, for example, if you notice, like, which side, like, let's say, for example, you're not even Iranian and you're listening to this, right? And you're like, well, but which side would I be on? I would be on the side of the Iranian people who are trying to fight for freedom and democracy and secularism, or on the side of a theocratical regime. Obviously, I'm going to take the side of the Iranian people who are fighting for democracy, secularism, and freedom of speech, and all that, all the good things. These are the good things, and those are the bad things. I'm for the good things and not for the bad things, right? These are the good words, and those are the bad words. So therefore, like, if, like, an active anti-Islamic Republic activist says something, and they are, somebody that I see like it's a hero in the movement, and like, I'm going to believe that. I'm going to believe the people. I'm not going to believe, but then you don't actually wonder, like, is it true? No, I'm not going to. Is it true? What? Am I going to check that? Do you think I'm going to believe do you think I'm going to betray the people who are fighting for democracy? Like, see, this is like, it all becomes, even the people who are not Iranian and just outside, they're like, even them, they become tribal, right? But I'm just saying, like, be careful with this line of reasoning. Like, like, if you're anti-communist, like, there might, and you're like, I'm on the side of the people who are fighting against the Cuban, authoritarian Cuban regime, blah, 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 blah. But then, like, a narrative comes out there, right? It comes out of Cuba, for example, and you look at that narrative and like, let me look at this narrative. This narrative seems like something that would be in favor of the Cuban regime and against the people who might want to topple the regime in Cuba. Therefore, I'm going to say it's not true, because it would be in the favor of the Cuban regime. Right? Oh, this narrative, let me look at this narrative. This narrative, if this narrative is true, it will favor the CCP, right? The Chinese government. But Chinese government bad. I'm not going to believe something that would favor the Chinese government. I'm going to believe that the narrative that is coming from the people who are against the CCP. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, this is how people decide what is true. This is dangerous stuff, okay? This is why I, like, when I see a news segment, for example, on Atheist Republic, that I feel like you guys in the live chat will be like, oh, yes, religion bad, religious people stupid. Yes, this news proves it. I'm like, okay, let me actually see if I could look at it from a different perspective. Let me see if I could steelman the religious person's perspective. And sometimes I don't do that. Like, especially, I notice, like, I don't do that when things come out of the Catholic Church. Like, I'm like, this is another proof that the Catholic Church is blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't do a steelman, for example, with the Catholic Church, right? I don't do steelmans when it comes to stuff that comes from Hinduism, right? Maybe this shows that I'm not being logical, right? This shows that after, you know, maybe my personal experiences with Hindus coming after me means that I played devil's advocate, like without noticing it, I'm playing devil's advocate for the Hindu side less often than I do with, I don't know, like Islam or Judaism, because Islam and Judaism, I had so much experience being mixed up with people that are always one-sided. They're like, okay, now I need to play the devil's advocate sometimes with Islam and Judaism, but I don't, and also with Christianity, but I don't do that with the Catholic faith. And I also don't do that with Hinduism. So I like, see, I'm being emotional. This is me being emotional. This is me not being like, not actually trying to figure out what is true. And my personal experiences with something is affecting my emotions. Anyways, you guys need to, I can't do this by myself. I can't, like, I'm a human, I'm an emotional creature, okay? The reason why I do these things live is for you guys to call me out. You can't just be like, yay, Armin, you're so wise. You can't do that to me, okay? Guys, please don't, you guys need to be like, no, Armin, this is wrong. This is this is the purpose of the live chat, okay? You guys need to help me out here, okay? I'm terrified of this. Anyways.
Hey guys, if you're a fan of Blasphemy and Sexy Callie, you know, like me, then you need to be sure to subscribe to our newsletter, link in the description below. Because if you subscribe, we will send you a free copy of our Blasphemous Art ebook. And let me tell you, it is the tastiest blasphemy that you can find anywhere available today. And we are so generous with our blasphemy that we continue to send you more blasphemy every week. So make sure to subscribe, link in the description below.